Hey guys, it's Gary Dempsey, and today we are going to talk about how to write a winning offer in a seller's market. Stay tuned. Hello, everyone. It's Gary Dempsey here at Harcourts Hunter Mason in Redondo Beach. It is a seller's market right now. What does that mean? It means that there's very little inventory, not a lot of homes for sale. And what that also means is if you're a buyer out there, you're going to be against quite a bit of competition. So I'm going to be giving you my tips and tricks and my must-dos every single time that I write an offer for one of my clients. And so it's a very personal, it's a very, a real estate transaction is, there's so many people involved, but the key here is to stand out and also build a great relationship with the listing agent. So the first thing I'm going to make sure that I do is when you go out to look at a home, if you go open houses or scheduled appointments or whatever, I'm going to make sure that I am with you during those showings. And the reason is not only so that I can consult with you at the home, and the other reason, the biggest reason, is that I can meet the listing agent, build a relationship, build rapport with them, and make sure that they remember us as buyers. So this is key because soon, if we're going to write an offer on the place, they're going to hear from me, and I want to make sure that they remembered our interaction on that day. One of the first things that we want to do before we even go shopping is to make sure that we've got a very clean approval letter from a lender, right? From the bank or from a lender. And that lender is going to do a full workup on your financials. So this letter basically states that the buyer is 100% approved and we just need the property. Many banks or lenders out there will also, especially when it's a seller's market, sometimes they don't even need uh, a appraisal. So that would be something that we would mention or waive that contingency when we come to when it comes to writing the offer. Um, One thing I'm going to do as well is consistently contact the listing agent. So I want to be doing as many touches as possible with the listing agent. So the first time is we're going to see them at the property. The second time is I just spoke to the buyers and they want to write an offer. So I'm going to call and say, hey, remember us? We were the cool looking family. I was with the cool looking family with the kids or the dog or whatever. They're interested in the home. We're going to write an offer. And I'm also going to ask the listing agent, and this is important, what is the seller looking for? Because what I want to do is write you the cleanest offer possible so that your seller can just accept it without having to counteroffer us on anything. So you have no idea what the seller wants. And so if the listing agent can give you as much indication as possible, this is huge when you're writing an offer. You want to make sure it's just perfect. So then the other thing we'll do is we'll sit down with the buyers, have the discussion of with them of how the discussion went with the listing agent, so that we can come up with a game plan and a great offer to submit to the seller. Then when it comes to writing the offer, we always make sure that the offer is super clean. Everything is written perfectly, no misspellings, the dates are correct, it's been signed and dated by the buyers. We want to also make sure that there's no mistakes, because we don't want to give them any reason to come back with a counter offer. We just want them to accept our offer. We even want to find out if the listing agent is requiring their escrow, their title, those different vendors. And if they are, then we're going to get those and make sure that we write them in instead of just saying, it's a seller's choice, or putting in one of ours, hoping that they might, pick them. The terms, besides the price, which is going to be strategic, right? We're going to be spending a lot of time figuring out a great price based on what we know about the property. But the terms are extremely important too. Now, terms meaning, how long do we have to be happy with our loan? How long are we cool with, doing our inspections and finding all that out? How much time do we need for the appraisal, if at all? So those are contingency dates that we put into the offer. And what those are, they protect you as the buyer, but they also give a little caution to the seller going, well, these are good buyers. I saw their pre-approval letter looks clean. I saw their financials and those look clean. But they're looking for 21 days to get their loan approved. That's not exciting for me, because what that means is that we could get an offer accepted, and then the seller is sort of on the hook with us for the next 21 days. And at that point, anytime up until then, we can actually back out of the deal. So the idea is to shorten those contingency periods as much as we can, but also make sure that you're protected as a buyer. We also want to find out what the seller's ideal time frame is. So what's their situation? Are they just moving out of the country? They've already got their home, or are they purchasing the next house? Like, what's going on? So a lot of times the sellers have specific things that they need, and we can offer a rent back situation. So what that means is that we can take possession of the home. We can own the home, and we can allow the seller to live there for a certain period of time. They pay you as the new owner to live there, but that gives them enough flexibility for them to go ahead and get the deal done that they're doing on the other side when they're purchasing a house. Here's another thing that I do every single time, and it's what I call the cheesy letter to the sellers. And this is written directly from the buyer. And so basically what it is, it's a letter explaining to the seller, hey, we're a local family here, or whatever the story is. And you really want to play up the heartstrings on these letters. But you want them, you want the seller to see like, hey, this is a real family. This isn't an investor coming in and flipping my home. This is someone that really appreciates and deserves my house. So we'll talk about if there's kids involved, that's the best thing. They want to go to school in the area, or my parents grew up in this area or they live down the street, or whatever it is. And I even have them submit pictures on the document as well, so that they could see that this is a real family looking to move into their home. And you have no idea how many times this works. And especially if you're up against competition, that cheesy letter is an amazing thing. And then when you can add personal highlights to it, where we actually talk about, we love the nook that was in the kitchen, and we can imagine ourselves having coffee in there in the mornings, or the window overlooking the backyard with the pool. I can imagine watching my kids swimming, that kind of thing. So it's a huge thing, and it works so many times. So once we've put all of that together, we're going to put a cover letter in, and that's going to basically summarize what our offer is. And we're going to be emailing this to them. And before might want to drop this off, but honestly, it's easier if the seller can, or the listing agent can, receive all these documents digitally. The last thing they want to do is take a big packet and then have to go scan it in and deal with it that way. So we want to make sure it's organized. We want to make sure that there's a cover letter in there with a summary of what our offer is. And then before I submit it, I call the listing agent again, say, listen, I'm about to send this to you. And I'm going to call you back again shortly to make sure that you've received it. And I'm also going to ask that you confirm. And by the way, is there anything else going on? What else can you tell me? Is there anything else that I need to know before I send this over to you? Are there other offers on the property? That kind of thing. So then we will submit the offer, call again. And after we've done that, we confirm that they've received it, and then get some sort of sense of when they'll be reviewing offers with the sellers. And up until, sometimes they'll say, well, they're going to be looking at them over the next 5 days. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to call that listing agent every day for the next 5 days, and also send them a quick email and a text, not being a pest, just saying, hey, we just want to let you know we still love the house, and we are not looking at anything else, and we really love it. Hope you take our offer. The next thing I'm going to do is have the lender or the bank, your representative that's working on your loan, I'm going to have them call, and I'm going to have them call the listing agent and tell them how great the buyer's file is, how easy it's going to be, how he's done deals with our office before many times, and it's always very smooth, easy transaction. The more comfortable that you can make the sellers and the listing agent, the better. So we're going to check in every day, and then this, I believe, is going to give us the best chance at getting a winning offer. If we get a counter offer, that's fine. It means that we're still, we didn't win it off the bat, but we're still in the running. And from there, I'll talk to the listing agent again several times to see if there's any indication that they can give us of what we need to be coming back with. And then, the other thing is just to keep up, keep your hopes up, but to keep looking, even though we're telling them we're not. You don't want to tie up all your hopes and dreams into one, especially if we've got a ton of competition. So we want to keep looking, because I've gone through this many times where we had our heart set on a house, and then we didn't win it, but the next house we saw was actually the one that they really wanted. So I hope all this helps. If you have any questions on getting pre-approved, what your payments would look like, what's going on in the market today, this is what we're here for. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this, and feel free to subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.